An update from PlayStation Studios. Nice. Dear team, today I want to share a difficult update regarding Bungie. Okay. They could have put difficult in the title. Rockstar announced last week that pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto 6 would begin this week. Naturally, with that, I presumed there would be a brand new trailer this week. New music, new gameplay, new cultural touchstone. As it turns out, pre-orders did indeed open this week, but there was no trailer. There was instead a website. And I mean, it's a nice website. As far as websites for video games go, it's probably one of history's nicest. For some reason, they let you control these clips with your scroll wheel. You can make this guy shake his head disapprovingly. Anyway, Grand Theft Auto 6 will cost $80 for the standard edition and $100 for the ultimate edition. And I guess generally you just see less vitriol towards ultimate editions these days, as if we've just grown used to it. Like, I don't think I saw a single soul complain that the only way to unlock the Joe Cool costume is to buy the deluxe edition of Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club. Somehow this totally got a pass. What's unusual about the Ultimate Edition cosmetics that come with Ultimate Edition of GTA 6 is, while some of them I do think you just get, probably just boot up the game and you got this in your closet, others are acquired at specific shops, salons, and parlors, only open for business with the Ultimate Edition. And to be clear here, I think that there will be standard edition tattoo parlors in the game that you can visit and get a standard tattoo at, but if you want to go to the Electric Fang tattoo parlor, they're going to say, sorry, no, we're closed. You can't come in here unless you have $20. Psychologically, I believe that tying even cosmetic bonuses to businesses that occupy space in the actual game world, that might make the standard edition feel incomplete. You're not just missing out on signature facial hairstyles, you're missing out on the entirety of Sarah's unisex salon. And adding to the raw deal, there's also the fact that at launch, every physical copy of GTA 6 will actually just be a printed download code in a box. Now, I actually believe that eventually there might be a version of GTA 6 on a disc that you can purchase physically. Eventually. But I'm also scared that Rockstar is about to find out just how many people are willing to buy a code in a box. It's probably a lot of people. And maybe it's a good thing there was no new trailer this week so we can just get all these conversations out of the way first. Because I think at the root of all of it is just how out of whack any value comparison has become in 2026. The difference between the standard edition and the ultimate edition is effectively one box of Spider-Man Liquid IV, which, to be honest with you, is not really even that good. I don't like raspberry lemonade. I just love Spider-Man. But talking about price comparisons, right? Let's talk about how last month Valve was finally able to restock Steam decks, but with a considerable price increase. And I mean considerable. We're talking a $300 bump to the most expensive Steam Deck. And the only reason given was this. These new prices reflect the current state of component costs and other global logistical challenges across the industry as a whole. Got it. And then they almost immediately sold out. You have to wonder what lesson Valve even learned there. To me, I figure they probably could have bumped it up $400 and still sold out. But I wanted to point out their reasoning because that was a standard explanation. One sentence, mention the word global, and then just list the prices. That's all you had to do. When Nintendo had to raise their hardware prices this year, which was something I don't think I've ever seen them do, by the way, they said it was happening in light of changes in market conditions and after considering the global business outlook. And that was it. Earlier this year when Sony had to raise the prices of their hardware. That was with continued pressures in the global economic landscape. No further elaboration necessary. And late last year when Xbox had to raise the prices on their hardware, that was due to changes in the macroeconomic environment. We're all on the same page here, right, people? You get the picture. What I learned this week is that you have to say more now. Turns out Xbox is raising hardware prices again, and this time they have a lot more to say about it. They say, unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times, and we expect another doubling by the fall of 2027. Fall of 2027, by the way, is when the next-gen consoles are or were going to come out, so that's a crazy thing to say out loud. And, to be fair, Asha Sharma, CEO of Xbox, has said that out loud.
Usually what happens at this point in a generation is your costs come down, right? Memory, storage, etc. Well, with AI, memory and storage costs are going up 2.75x rather than 50% down. Just in my first 100 days, it's up 50%, and I think it will continue to go up.
She explicitly blamed AI there. The Xbox Wire post doesn't. It continues, the entire consumer electronics industry is struggling with the current components crisis. Yeah, look at Apple. They just raised their prices on their hardware. They're not gamers. But the effects are particularly hard on consoles. Unlike phones, computers, speakers, why speakers, and other consumer devices, consoles are typically not sold at a profit, but instead for less than they cost to make. Suddenly, we're making excuses. It used to be just one sentence. Now it's, hey, we have it even harder than Apple because we're consoles. And remember, I'm on Xbox Wire here. This is a press release. This is marketing. It's advertising. I'm just not used to this kind of communication. I guess growing up in the 90s, I had grown accustomed to commercials that had attitude. They were just like, buy this, or you suck. Today I'm looking at these businesses just really putting it all out there. There's a real nothing left to lose energy to it. Like they're just saying, hey man, I'm going to level with you. It doesn't look good. And in fact, Xbox clearly knows what they're asking for these Xbox consoles is so ridiculous that they came up with 4 ideas to make Xbox consoles more accessible. 2 of them involve going into debt for an Xbox, and 2 of them involve buying used Xboxes. I guess you can't say that they're not trying, but in the case of Xbox in particular, they don't seem as faultless because Xbox is Microsoft. Microsoft loves AI, and as Asha Sharma just admitted, AI is causing this whole Rampocalypse. It's like if your friend says, hey man, do you want to come over? And you say, yeah, is the pool still open? And then they say, no, actually, it's the pool is filled with beans. And you say, who filled your pool with beans? And they say, I did. I keep filling my pool with beans. And I'm not going to stop. Naturally, you'd say, I'm not coming over, dude. But those hideous new Xbox prices were nothing compared to the collective sticker shock the internet received when Valve finally announced what a Steam machine costs. Which is to say a lot. The cheapest Steam machine, devoid of controller, is still more expensive than the most expensive PlayStation 5. Hey, look at that. Easy debt, baby. So it's funny that the long-awaited announcement of the Steam machine's release is somehow bad news. This should have been a celebratory post, like it's finally here. Instead, Valve almost immediately felt the need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yeah, a whole section here on why it is expensive. They point out specifically RAM and storage components. They say the overall effect is that our original goal for the price of Steam Machine is no longer viable. So the prices we're sharing today reflect the state of the world for manufacturing, or more accurately, it reflects the price of the components as we've secured them over the past 6 months. So specific. It's just another marker for how weird things are right now. Nobody is out here saying, buy this, or you suck. The new trend is, sorry, but our original goal is no longer viable. And that's delayed input and the end of the Popeye season. As usual, we'll be off for 3 weeks with some sort of in-betweener video popping up in the middle there. Delayed input will return July 24th. Until then, thanks for watching. So you could say this video was mostly about my surprise at these gaming companies going to such lengths of transparency and honesty with regards to costs. Now, I do think that perhaps Valve is being a little cute about it. Here's from the Steam Machine FAQ. Question: is this the Valve console? Answer: we think of Steam Machine as an extension of PC gaming, not as a console. The traditional console model is to sell hardware at a loss and make up the revenue with subscription services or by selling games that are locked in to the hardware. Whoa, that's what Xbox just said. We think this can make sense for a single business in the short term. Happy 31st anniversary to PlayStation. But that open ecosystems are better for customers over the long term. PC gaming's history proves this. The openness of the PC gaming space has enabled it to be the primary driver of hardware and software innovation for decades. The strength of PC gaming is the ability to play the games you want on the hardware you want. Steam Machine is a solution to these problems. Nobody mentioned any problems, and we think it's a great one. But it's not the only solution, and we don't want it to be. That whole language just drives me crazy. The question was just, is this a console? So just say no. You could have just said no. That would have been fine. But they immediately had to almost defensively go to how consoles sell at a loss, which, by the way, Sony and Nintendo are not doing on purpose right now. There was a moment there when the disk drive version of the PS5 was selling at a profit, and they were so proud. So when they phrase it like this, so pointedly, it just kind of comes across as Valve doesn't want you to compare this thing to a console because it would not compare favorably dollar to dollar. And so basically the point that they're making is this thing has to be so expensive for it to be so free. Sure, probably 99% of the people buying this thing will then buy 99% of their games from Steam, who will then make 30% off of every purchase. A lot like those closed ecosystems in their short-term businesses, but there's also the possibility that someone could buy one of these things and only boot up Space Cadet Pinball. Just play this and nothing else. Never giving Valve another cent. Freedom isn't free. Ergo, that will be $1,049, please. Now, I'm also assuming, just like those Steam Decks, the Steam machines will probably also just sell out. I don't know how it's happening, but somehow we keep making more millionaires. But having the gall to say that PC has been the primary driver for software innovation for decades really just makes me want to shake my head.